as Linden Lab, we did want it to be like Burning Man, and once a year we do Burning Man in Second Life. We get our opportunity to do with it what we want, but everyone else is doing what they want as well, and I'm not, as the person who's doing governance in Second Life, going to decide what is and what is not a good use of the platform. That's mostly what I spend my time trying to avoid, and trying to get everyone else in Linden Lab to agree with me that we don't want to do that. And I'm sure as we go on, we can talk about some of the more controversial and unsavory things that have come up in that sort of space and how we've chosen to deal with them.
Hey, why not now? I'm actually very curious, because you dealt with other complaints and stuff. What's like the weirdest thing that the weirdest complaint that you got, like while you were still directly involved with them?
Well, they get weirder all the time. Recently, we've been dealing with a lot of issues of age and identity. Second Life is an 18 and up space. A lot of people, not a lot of people, some people that have been highlighted by the media, but a very small group of people in Second Life like to be involved in role-playing. They play ages other than their own, specifically under 18. So there are children in Second Life, and they get adopted by parents as a group of Boy Scouts, and for the most part, it's a little weird, it's a little odd. What isn't, for a very, very small subset of that, there's a sexual component to it, which becomes even a little bit more difficult. So we had to make some decisions about this. We already have existing policies that say that everything that's advertised in global channels, so if it's in your parcel description or if it's in a classified advertisement that can be read anywhere in Second Life, that it needs to be sort of PG in its content. It can't be explicit, and it can't be broadly offensive. And you'll see as we talk that a lot of times Linden Lab trades in these nebulous statements where we don't draw definitive lines. If you draw definitive lines in a space like Second Life, you can expect that everyone will walk right up to the edge of that line, they'll spit over that line, and they'll say, I'm not crossing it. So we try not to be quite as specific about exactly what it is you can and cannot do. We say that you cannot use content that's broadly offensive, and Linden Lab is going to be the group that decides it's broadly offensive. We make that decision based on the community. If the community complains enough about something, we'll decide the community feels it's broadly offensive, and we'll enforce it. So we handled age play by saying, you can't discuss having any depictions of sex with someone under the age of 18 in any of our global channels. It's broadly offensive. This is not a new rule. We're not saying that your role-playing is weird or wrong or anything else like that. We're saying it's broadly offensive. It's not going to be in our channels. And we also said, if you say your age, if you assert an age that's under 18, you may not be eligible to use Second Life, so we're going to ask you to prove your age, and that's kind of a hassle for you. So we did this, and most people were happy with it. A few people were a little upset. But the group that was outraged, and I hadn't known they existed up to this point, were the baby furs. Yes, this is where age players and furries come together and intersect. So they're baby animals. And not only the baby animals, but the full-grown animals were also upset because they interpreted our statement saying that if you assert an age under 18, you might have to be age verified. We're talking about real-life age. They're talking about role-playing age, and of course, if you're a dog or a weasel, whoever heard of an 18-year-old weasel? And they were just absolutely outraged. In fact, I had the opportunity to hear one of my employees, Michael. Michael has a big booming voice. He's about 7 feet tall and 400 pounds. He's this huge man. And he's on the phone with somebody, and all I heard from across the room was, Sir, what is the age of consent for a weasel? And I just turned around and walked right out of the room. And I'm not sure if it's ever going to get much stranger than that. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt.
I swear, I'm sorry, I thought the weasel was over 18.
What is the age of consent for a weasel? SecondLife.com. For the most part, though, the complaints that we get they're really, really humdrum. It's the same things people complain about in real life. My neighbor's fence is ugly, blocking my view of the ocean. It's a lot of interpersonal disputes. He's mean to me, he's rude, whatever else like that. And that's precisely the kind of thing that we don't get involved in. We are never going to adjudicate interpersonal disputes in Second Life. Hopefully, we'll be able to add dispute resolution, but even that, our focus is going to be on the commercial and the transactional more than whether or not people like each other. Second Life is an intensely ego-driven space. Everybody has their own view of Second Life and what it should be, and they get upset when somebody else doesn't share their view. So someone who comes to Second Life who wants to get away and relax and chat with friends versus somebody who's trying to run a business versus someone who really just wants to harass other people and annoy them. They all come to the space and they want everyone else to use it the way that they use it. So they don't get along, and they'll never get along. So we've tried to adapt our approach to not making people get along, but allowing them to control their experience to the greatest extent possible on a variety of different levels.